Hello everyone, how are you all? I'm Debottam, your host, and you are listening to Better You, Better Life, a self improvement plan SIP podcast, Season 1, Episode 4. Before moving on, let us recap in brief about what we have discussed in Episode 3. We discussed about stories of a few great personalities on their mistakes and how they overcame them to become better version of themselves. We also concluded that mistakes can happen to even great of the greats, and that's how they have improved in their life, in their career, and hence they've achieved the level of perfection they aspired for. However, in their journey, they never gave up. They kept making mistakes, and as a result of that, they sometimes their ambitions were also took a backseat. But still, they went on, and eventually they kept practicing until they succeed. It may be anything. We took few great personalities like Sachin Tendulkar and Mike Tyson, and that's how. Moving on in today's episode, today I'm going to do some sort of self talk. I'm going to share some of my perspectives with all of you. In today's episode, the conversation will be something of where I want to express my things from my experience. Let me use this podcasting medium as a platform, as a media to use my own experience as a guide for my own learning. We will be talking primarily about self doubt. Self doubt that arises because of making mistakes, especially in the growing stage, in the formative years of your professional career, when you create a mistake and that itself a poison which keeps growing inside your mind, and that is ultimately responsible for your own debacle. So yeah, I admit that these topics are becoming very common these days in various platforms. You will see influencers are talking about their experiences, sharing about their stories. There will be some professional self-proclaimed coaches might raise these issues in various platforms talking about self-doubt and how to come out of that. You might come across some shitty self-help books where you might find the solutions which can improve your life by reading, by completing it. Might give you inspiration, but after a few days, after 10-15 days, you might feel that yeah, it's not working out, so and eventually you give up, right? There might be some podcasts like I'm doing, maybe mine too, maybe comes under the boring category, that same thing again and again, it's repeated and it has become so common. But my point is, there is a need to talk about these topics more often than before, because we are living in the age of sensitivities. People these days have become so sensitive that we have to be extra careful. As a result, we are afraid of doing our actions freely. We were always think that what others people will say, and we keep on thinking, we keep on struggling with suffering from these syndromes which is actually not existing in reality. So let's keep talking about these experiences. Share your stories with your friends, with your parents, with your relatives, and make it so common that it enters into your subconscious mind, and that is what the aim of my podcast is. Let's talk a bit about self-doubt. See, whenever we make any mistake, be it professional or personal or unintentional, it creates a kind of a self-doubt on yourself. If you are doing something constructive, say you are working in a project, or you are in a relationship, or say you have been given some responsibility which you have failed to deliver, and that have ample number of reasons, so I'm not going into very depth or the science behind it, but the crux of the concept is it always create that doubt within yourself, and that doubt is not created because of other people. It is because of sometimes your own actions, or sometimes situation compels you to self-doubt your actions. And it happens especially with old age people, because they don't want to trust people so easily. They don't want to feel confident that easily. It happened with my grandfather also. He's not there anymore, but it happened with my grandfather also. He will keep asking me the same question again and again and again, ensuring that whatever is being done is correct and perfect. Whereas I was doing my job and I was always correct in my action, but it's because of him, that self-doubt which prevented him from trusting me for the task I was assigned. Anyway, this was just my anecdote. I just tried to pull in from my life. So it is like that kind of poison, and you can't avoid it permanently. You will keep making mistakes. You will keep coming with various kind of self-doubt questions, and you have to navigate yourself through those experiences and become better version of yourself. And it is not that it will happen only to age-old people, to middle-aged people, to adolescent children, to teenagers, school-going students, teachers, even experts. Everybody has their own version of self-doubt, because whenever you don't get a proper response for your action, you tend to feel that whatever you are doing may not be correct, may not be perfect, or it may not be as per your expectations. But it's fine. Who is asking you to do everything perfectly? Even perfection, there is nothing called perfection, right? So mistakes will happen. So it is very important that self belief, that is the antidote against your self doubt. It will happen million times to you, and million times you have to defeat it and forge ahead with full conviction that no, whatever I have done, I am doing it for better version of myself. It will make me stronger and it will make me smarter. Well, at this moment it feels like that I'm advertising some health drink or something, but the concept is true and it needs to be discussed. I think self-doubt is a very common experience that many people face at some point in their lives. And let us try to define what is self-doubt. Self-doubt can be defined as the lack of confidence or belief in oneself or one's abilities. Now, what I mean by that? Self-doubt can be debilitating, and it can prevent individuals from pursuing their goals and achieving success. So let us discuss some of these strategies which may help to remove self-doubt, and it helps you to build that antidote within yourself by building your self-confidence. So if self-doubt is the poison inside you, then the self-confidence is the anti-venom. So I think one of the many ways can be like the identifying the source of your problem, source of your mistake, or the source of your self-doubt. Initial step can be to remove self-doubt is to identify the source from where that self-doubt has arrived. If you are unable to recall it, or if you don't want to remember it, just write it down in a piece of a paper for reference. It could come from a past failure or rejection, a negative comment from someone whom you trust and it has hurted you, or simply the fear of the unknown, like it happens to me that I have a phobia of going to unknown places. Whenever I see crowded people, I tend to keep myself aloof. Whenever I go to any party or any family occasion, I don't try to mingle with people, because I don't know like how people will react to my behavior, to my actions. and I have mentioned about this in my first introductory episode in this podcast. So it is very important to identify the source of your self doubt such that it becomes easier to address it, and then you can take action. Second thing can be a bit psychological. It's like challenging your negative thoughts. Self doubt often stems from negative thoughts and beliefs that we have about ourselves. We know that we can take action, right, to improve our condition, but still we like to stay sad, still we like to stay listen to some sad music, and that beliefs just intensify within us. And trust me, it's the solution is within ourselves. We just need to seek answers properly. These thoughts which stems up in our mind can be irrational or may not be true, but still these thoughts which are imaginary, 99% of the case, can still have a powerful impact on our self-confidence. It is very important to challenge these negative thoughts and replace them with positive affirmations. Now, many people have said that positive affirmations, like whenever you start feeling doubt or whenever you have some conflicting situation in your life, just affirm yourself. It's like a meditation, right? Like chanting, like I'm good enough, I'm good enough, I'm capable of achieving my goals, I'm capable of being happy. Happiness is a choice and others people have no control. Affirmations are important because it helps. It may not help you immediately, but if you keep yourself disciplined in this aspect, I'm sure that in after a week or 10 days you start feeling that change. And it's powerful actually. If you're able to change your mindset, it really helps. Then another factor can be surrounding yourself with positive people. Yes, you are nothing but a part of your surrounding, of which society plays a great deal. What do I mean by that? Means the people with whom you interact, somehow unconsciously their thoughts, their thinking, their mindset get propagated into our self-conscious mind, and we try to become one of them. Now if you stay within good company, you become a better person. Now if you remain associated with not so good people or people who don't try to help you, then definitely you will become one of them eventually. If not on day 1, then maybe in day 100 or day 150. So it is very important to keep yourself surrounding with positive people. People who demotivate you should not be part of your life. Even if it is your own relative, just cut the link. I repeat, people who demotivate you should not be part of your life. It can be your family member, it can be your relative, it can be any close friends or even your romantic partner. Just cut the link, because your well-being should be of paramount importance to yourself. If you are not valuing yourself, then nobody will value you. Now, surrounding yourself with positive people to whom you believe helps boosting your self-confidence, and it will also help in removing self-doubt, because those are the people who will, even if they criticize you, they will do it constructively. They will encourage you to come out of it. They will not try to pinpoint your mistakes without giving any feedback or without giving any measures to counter it. These individuals can provide encouragement, support and feedback that will help you grow and develop as a person. Another aspect can be like practicing self-care. Taking care of your physical and mental health can also help removing your self-doubt. Now, this is a broad concept. Self-doubt is a broad concept and it is related with our everyday life. So, if we are able to bring our everyday life in some sort of routine or in some sort of pattern, and you just keep repeating that pattern, definitely your quality of life will improve. Now, taking self-care of your physical and mental health, this includes some of the routine exercise like getting enough sleep, then exercising regularly, if not hitting a gym but at least a brisk walking without electronic gadgets, or maybe sometimes eating a healthy diet so you feel good. Yeah, eating a healthy diet do have some influence in your psychological well-being, and practicing relaxation techniques like meditation or yoga. These days so many platforms are available for adopting techniques like meditation or yoga. You have mantra chanting. I do mantra chanting. Then you can have normal meditation. There are coming back to our point of discussion. When you feel good physically and mentally, you are more likely to have confidence, which is the antidote against self-doubt, and it will help you in pursuing your goals. Then let us talk a little bit about strengths. It is always better to focus on your strengths rather than weaknesses. Instead of dwelling on your weaknesses, focusing on strengths also helps you removing your self-doubt. Let's try to make a list of your talents, your accomplishments, and remind yourself of them regularly. I'm sure that you must be good at something, but you never really got that opportunity or got that space to acknowledge your achievements. Try out your passions, discover your talents, work on them, and those reminders will help you removing your self-doubt. See, when you focus on your strengths, you will feel more confident in your abilities and less likely to doubt yourself. Then another aspect of removing self-doubt can be by setting realistic goals. With realistic goals, sometimes what happens, we bring ourselves under lots of pressure by some unrealistic goals. Say I want to lose 20 kgs in next 1 month, and start hitting the gym immediately tomorrow, and we will do some heavy workout in the gym, say for 1 hour or 1.5 hours, and then coming back tired, jaded, and then after 2 days, 3 days, the intensity just dies out. Eventually you give up, right? Instead, if you could have broken down that goal into smaller activities, smaller set of activities, maybe there was a higher probability that you would achieve that. So it is very important to, in keeping your own capacity in mind, you should set realistic goals. And the advantage is when you set goals that are achievable, and you are more likely to succeed, and you will feel confident in your abilities. In simple words, setting unrealistic goals can lead to frustration, leads to disappointment, and it will aggravate the self-doubt within you. So keep things simple, crisp, and be happy. And another thing is that don't just think. Overthinking is another primary factors for raising self-doubt within an individual. So it's the monkey mind. If you keep it idle, it will bring some unrealistic thoughts, thereby ruining your mental well-being. So take action. If you have decided to do something, then just do it. Don't wait for that right time or right moment. For example, I have been planning to launch my podcast for last 1 year. Said during second COVID wave, I planned. I even took some training. I even went through some books, some YouTube videos, but still, it almost 1 year after that I have finally realized that until and unless I take proper action on my passions, other hobbies, it will never happen. So now I'm in a position that I'm recording my 4th episode with all of you as a result of taking action. So when you take action towards your goals, you are proving to yourself that you are capable of achieving them. Nothing is difficult, nothing is rocket science. You can still achieve them. This can help build your self-confidence and remove your self-doubt. Starts by small. You should start small and work your way up. Once the journey starts, it's always the first step which is difficult, but once the journey starts, it becomes eventually easier. That experience needs to be enjoyed rather than thinking about the result. And remember that progress is more important than perfection. I repeat, progress is more important than perfection. In spite of all these suggested action, if none of these actions works out, definitely it varies from individual to individual how he approach his own self-doubt to improve himself or herself. If your self-doubt syndrome is impacting your daily life and it is preventing you from pursuing your goals, then it may be helpful to take help of some professional expert, maybe a therapist or counselor who can provide you with the correct tools and strategies you need to overcome self-doubt and build your self-confidence. Again, whatever we are discussing here, it's all of coming out of experiences, online research. Then you might have heard them in some other language, in other platforms, but idea is to remove self-doubt, for which you need to gain self-confidence. You have to finish that poison within yourself, and then only you will be able to improve and become better version of yourself. Without let's try to summarize what we have. I'm trying to compile what we have discussed so far. We have discussed that self-doubt is a very common experience and that can happen to anyone in any field. It can impact anyone in any life stage, any age group. But there are few things, small and simple practices which we can adopt in our daily life to remove self-doubt and build self-confidence. We discussed about how self-doubt is that poison which will keep on multiplying inside your mind, for which the only antidote is building self-confidence. Now, to build self-confidence, it is very important that you value yourself as a person. You should value yourself, your thoughts, your actions, instead of giving too much importance to the external world. And some of those simple practices can be challenging your negative thoughts. Then surround yourself with positive people who encourages you, who gives you proper advice, and will be there in the time of facing difficulties. Practicing self-care through affirmations, taking proper diet, having a sufficient sleep routine, then focusing on your strengths instead of dwelling on your weaknesses, then setting realistic goals. Start simple and make it achievable and feel happy about it. Then taking small actions rather than just thinking. Let your conscious take some action. See what happens. At least you will be at peace mentally. And if none of these practices work, we can always take help of that close friend or a therapist or a counselor who will guide you in removing your self-doubt. By implementing some of these simple steps, we can overcome self-doubt and achieve our goals in the path of success. Today I have done lots of talking and I really enjoyed speaking freely about myself and about this concept of self-doubt. So I really hope that you found this episode a bit helpful for you. For the next episode, I haven't decided any topic which I will speak. I want to keep it, so let me explore what I can discuss further. Thank you everyone for listening to our podcast. Until we meet next time, enjoy your weekend. Signing off.